Lando from Today's Tech, and I've been using this new watch on my other wrist for about 2 weeks now, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised. It's called the Mobvoi TicWatch E3, Mobvoi's very latest smartwatch, and it's arguably a viable Galaxy Watch alternative for several reasons beyond just the price. And I want to start with the design because it's just a little bit different than what I'm used to. The first thing you'll notice is that it has a very simplistic look. It's not going to be a head turner, it's just a smartwatch, but an extremely functional smartwatch. And we'll get to that functionality in a minute. But you'll also notice that it's extremely lightweight, so it's pretty easy to forget that it's there. And that's because it's a plastic build. And believe it or not, there are benefits to that. Obviously, it's more lightweight at 32 grams compared to the at least 49 grams of the Galaxy Watch 3, but it also brings the price down, so there's that. And this is the first plastic smartwatch I've used since the Samsung Gear 2 Neo. And it wouldn't be my first choice, but that takes nothing at all away from what this watch is capable of. Over the past 2 weeks of all day, everyday wear, I've yet to get a scratch or mark or anything. So that's always a good sign. It's got some durability. And I think the screen is a good size at 1.3 inches. That's right in between what Samsung offers for the Galaxy Watch 4s, but it is not an OLED and it has a pretty thick bezel. The perfect size for a touch bezel, but it's just a bezel in this case. However, the display is kind of rounded on the sides with 2.5D arc glass, so it feels very nice when you're just swiping around. It's subtle, but it's a nice touch. Now the band is definitely a more budget-friendly rubber, I'll say, but it at least has a groove in the loop that keeps it from sliding all over the place. So looks and design-wise, the E3 gets a pass from me. So one of the biggest draws in the hype surrounding the recently announced Galaxy Watch 4s is the fact that they finally run on Wear OS. So we're talking Google Assistant, Google Maps, Google Pay, the Play Store, just about everything Google. Well, the TicWatch E3 has all that. It runs Wear OS 2.3, and Google confirmed that it will get the update to Wear OS 3, which is dope. And another draw of the new Galaxy Watches is the fact that they run on a brand new processor made by Samsung that's faster and more efficient than the last one they've been using for about 3 years. Well, the TicWatch E3 also rocks a new processor, the Snapdragon Wear 4100. And on top of that, it's one of only 2 smartwatches with the latest processor from Qualcomm. You know the other one? The TicWatch Pro 3. So this watch runs Wear OS buttery smooth. That was actually one of the first things that caught my attention. I didn't notice any hiccups or lag anywhere. Swiping through the tiles is smooth. Using Google Assistant is quick and responsive. It's quick to wake up from a sleep state. I mean, it really works extremely well. And a crucial feature, in my opinion, that it shares with the Apple Watch is Google Maps navigation synced to your phone. So once you start navigating, let's say you have a turn coming up, you'll get a nice vibration on your wrist as well as these on-screen directions, and these come in so clutch. Now, another crucial feature is Google Pay. So NFC payment services are popular enough now, in my area at least, to where the majority of stores accept it. So I can easily just pay with my TicWatch and keep my phone in my pocket. So the watch pairs with the Wear OS app, and you can choose watch faces, tile or widget settings, notifications, all that good stuff. And it just uses the Play Store for watch faces, so there are at least 1,000 watch faces to choose from, some free, some paid. So definitely new watch face a day type stuff. And Wear OS has a similar interface to Tizen from Samsung. So notifications are a swipe up from the watch face, widgets or tiles as Google calls them are to the right, quick settings are above. But with Wear OS, Google Assistant is to the left of the watch faces, and it's just as quick and responsive as it is on Android. So much quicker and more responsive than Bixby on the Galaxy Watch 3. Now, I do feel like there are a limited number of tiles for quicker access to important information, but from the ones that are available, they're super easy to customize and to add new ones. And I feel like this watch definitely makes good use of the 2 buttons. Both buttons have multiple uses with either a single press, long press, or even a double press. Now, I will say that I do wish it had a digital crown or even a touch bezel for navigation, just to make the user experience a little bit more pleasing. I'm not the type to use the touchscreen on my watches just because, your finger gets in the way, it adds smudges to the screen, but this watch is limited to just a touchscreen, but ultimately, it gets the job done. And really, that's more of an extra complementary feature. And this is a smartwatch that doesn't focus on the extra stuff. You could even argue that stainless steel is an extra, so that's why we get a plastic build. But at this price, I feel like you need at least one extra to make it truly competitive in a market where Samsung has several options up and down the price spectrum with several extra complementary features. Now, that feature in this case is the always-on display. It works with watch faces, workouts, media that you have playing, the whole nine. So it definitely comes in clutch. But I feel like it's in a very tough spot to succeed, priced at $199. We have the just announced Galaxy Watch 4 starting at $250 with at least an aluminum build and Wear OS. Or we have the Galaxy Watch Active 2 with the right discounts at $160. Heck, even the TicWatch Pro 3 is currently on sale for $250. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely in a tough spot, but it does stake its claim in a few key areas. Peep this. So we know the main focus of smartwatches is health and fitness tracking, right? Like we've gone way beyond the days of being excited about just being able to receive notifications on our wrist. So the E3 definitely takes on that main focus, and we get a ton of health, wellness, and fitness tracking features, and there's two options for keeping track of all this data. So being a Wear OS smartwatch, it natively supports Google Fit, and I personally went that route just for the sake of continuity, and it is quite a bit more robust when it comes to the number of workouts that you can track. But you also get a bunch of apps from Mobvoi that get the job done. You get tick-themed apps like Tick Exercise, Tick Sleep, Tick Breathe, just to name a few, and they're all pretty easy to use. In terms of what they're capable of, you of course get heart rate monitoring, blood oxygen measurements, sleep tracking, and there's a stress management feature that includes checking your stress level and taking a break with a quick deep breathing session. So the TicWatch E3 is definitely no slouch in the health and wellness department. It's really not too far off from Apple and Samsung. But again, where I think Mobvoi lags behind is in the fitness tracking department. But it's not a huge deal because it has Google Fit. And the heart rate monitoring seemed to be pretty accurate. And it also seemed to coincide with the data from my Galaxy Watch 3, so I'll take it. Oh, and there is a dedicated Mobvoi app to review all of the health and fitness tracking data. Not the best looking app, but I didn't have any issues or anything. And there's a pretty dope feature where, say if your parents, for example, also have TicWatches, you guys can share health data with each other and kind of make sure you're all on top of things. But even though it runs the Snapdragon Wear 4100, which has faster processing and better efficiency, I still feel like the battery life could be better. And that's not really a knock on the TicWatch. It's kind of how I feel about the smartwatch industry as a whole. But I would say that this is a watch that you'll likely need to charge on a nightly basis if you exercise and allow the 24-hour health tracking and keep the watch face always on. Otherwise, it could definitely last up to 2 days, I would say. And charging wise, it's actually pretty quick, relatively speaking. It uses this super simple proprietary magnetic charger. And on the days that I forgot to charge and it was close to dying, it only took about an hour and a half to refuel, which is on par, if not better, than most smartwatches. So overall, the TicWatch E3 is definitely a viable option if you're in the market for a sort of mid-range level smartwatch. It's got health, wellness, and fitness tracking just a little bit behind the Apples and Samsungs of the world. It's running Wear OS with a promised upgrade to the new Wear OS 3. It's got Google Assistant, Google Maps, Google Pay, and it runs on the much improved Snapdragon Wear 4100. So it's really buttery smooth. I just feel like it's priced just a little bit too high in a market dominated by Samsung smartwatches that offer several premium complementary features that you just don't find on the TicWatch E3. Then throw in some of the Fitbit models and it becomes even more challenging. But hey, if you don't care about extras and you just want a watch that tracks your health and receives your notifications at a price relatively lower than the competition, then the TicWatch E3 is your guy. And I've included a link to Mobvoi's website in the description below where you can get more detailed feature and spec information if you're interested in purchasing. But yeah, with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Always appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, then definitely sub to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace and love, guys.